to thank the Lord for His goodness. We want to thank God for His mercies that really have kept us up to today. Want to thank all the visitors that are here with us, worshiping with us today. Yes, the Lord is good. Really, He may be good to you, and may His face shine upon you. And I would like to thank also for Obabongobo night today. Really, the powerful prayer that was rendered and the powerful singing. Really, I was blessed here. There is a powerful tenor here coming, Elders Band. Very powerful indeed. I just pray that we have him in our choir, our powerful choir, church choir. Are we together? Yes. It's Ncube with your temu obabu when you are assembling your team, your praise team. Please don't forget Ubabu Ncube, being mentioned in the same one. So friends, God, He's really good. He's good all the time. Those who were here during the Sabbath school, we tried to lay our foundation, our theme, what we will be talking about throughout the year. Our theme for the year is God first. God first. But then as we move along, we are going to have sub themes that we will be working under. So the stewardship department will advise as we move along. So yes, there are a number of things that we talked about during Sabbath school. Our position as God stewards. Who are we, and what are our responsibilities as God's stewards? Are we together, friends? Yes. Thank you so much also for your singing. I love the song, the hymn 195, especially the stanza that says, the last stanza that said, remember, Lord, the ancient days. Wasikhumbula endulo, phindutelo umusa wakho. You know, there are some dark moments in our lives. Sometimes we encountered different challenges. And, you know, maybe some of you have never gone through challenges. Maybe it's only myself. But when I encounter those challenges, I always remember what the Lord has done before. Then I say, because Kumbula, what we did there, please do it again now. So that's why I love this song so much, because really what the Lord does, I've had some experiences where really God came through, and those experiences, I don't forget them. Yes, it says in the book, A Desire of Ages, we have nothing to fear for the future unless we forget how the Lord has led us in the past. So if the Lord delivers you, if the Lord fights for you, if the Lord wins for you the battles, yes, He's doing that so that you'll be encouraged. You'll be encouraged tomorrow. So friends, as we get to our talk today, I just want to share a few things. I remember in the year 1999, the 1st of May, I got baptized. Are we together, friends? I got baptized, and on this day, it was my birthday as well. So those who didn't know my birthday, you now know. Are we together, friends? Yes. On that day, I got baptized in 1999. And when I got baptized, I remember there is a brother who adopted me as his spiritual son. So when he adopted me, he shared with me some tips. He says, you know what, my son, I'm going to share with you some tips. As you have chosen the Lord, they you have started the journey. The war has begun. So there are some things that you will need to do, and there are some things that you will not. You are supposed not to do. So he told me first, says, you know what, prayer, prayer. You need to be prayerful. You fight your battles through prayer, not physical battles, of course. You don't engage yourself in physical battles, but you fight eh, through prayer on your knees. So prayer is very critical to a child of God. So wherever prayer is made, please find yourself there. I was a very short boy then, very young, but the journey started. Then he also told me that, you know what, you will also need to study the Word of God, the Bible. Please do that. Study the Word of God every time before you even start your daily business. Make sure that you have heard what God um, says in His Word. Over and above the Bible, there is what is called SOP. Yes. Please be a friend to SOP. I will help you get um, the SOP. I didn't know what SOP is then, but then he gave me the link and I to get the SOP. Then, as that was not enough, he said also, please work in the Lord's vineyard. Yes, work for the Lord. Wherever a call is made, please ensure that you also witness for the Lord. Witness for the Lord. And then I listened to him, and yes, with the help of the Lord, really, I think it was helpful. It was helpful. So as we moved along some months, after that, I remember it was around July, started hearing about the camp meetings, and then he came again and said, you know what, if there's a place that you should not miss is the camp meetings. In the camp meetings, God tabernacles with these kids. He tabernacles with these children. So he comes down, and don't miss. Camp meetings are so powerful. And now, well, I didn't say anything. I knew that, you know what, I'm not going to make it, because camp meetings also requires budget. Let me also invite you for the afternoon. Those who are not here in the morning, in the afternoon, please don't ever plan to miss. You are going to hear powerful things, powerful stuff that are going to help you. So please, I invite you for the afternoon. So make sure that you are there. So friends, I knew that I didn't have money, being a school kid, staying with people who do not share the faith with you. Now when you start asking, hey, I want to go to the camp meetings, and they know that you go to church in the different day, you don't work, so it really doesn't sound so good, and they wouldn't do much. So when the days got closer, something amazing happened. As we were going to school with my friends. We were about 5, walking just towards 2, when we were about to get to where we were going to. Then on our way there, as I was walking, I just see some money on the road. I just picked that money, When I was still celebrating in my heart, still could not believe all this. The friend who was next to me thought, I dropped that money. That was my money that I dropped. So I actually said, no, you have lost some money here. So I picked it up, then put it in my pocket. Yes. So as I was still celebrating, really, that the Lord does not give on the hand, as they say, as some say, you know, a distance of about 50 to 100 meters, I picked another bunch of money as well. It just came, yes, I picked it up. And you know what? That money, I put it in my pocket when I was alone at home there. I started counting. When I counted, the money was enough for the camp meeting expenses. And it was also enough for me to buy a hymn book because I did not have a hymn book by then. So I wanted so much a hymn book that I love singing. So whenever I go to church, the song that I liked, I used to write on a piece of paper. That's how much I wanted a hymn book. I needed it actually. So I got a hymn book. So I had enough for my camp meeting. So here, friends, I am talking about a God who provides, a God who hears, a God who sees what is in our deepest hearts. Are we together, friends? Yes, as we continued the day, I remember one day again, we were visiting another sister in our neighborhood as we were going to comfort her. She had gone through a tragic experience. So she had actually lost a child. The child was doing grade 7. So it was the only child that she had. And on top of that, she was a single parent. And you can imagine how difficult it was to offer words of comfort. Where do you start from, really? To start to say about the goodness of God, when someone is going through such an experience. So we tried, you try this, you try to say that, and she also saw that these people are really struggling to comfort me. And then as we were about to go, and then says, no, servants of God, I really thank you so much for coming to pray with me and to offer words of comfort and encouragement. But do not worry too much. Before you came in here, there is another preacher who came. And this preacher told us that, you know what, things are so difficult these days. So many people have got different challenges and problems. So God has got too much to handle. As he tried to attend to this one, there is a devastation somewhere else. As he tries to attend to this one, there is a war somewhere else. As he tries to attend to a war, someone is robbing someone in Johannesburg. There's a lot in God's hands, so there's a very long queue sometimes before you get to God, something just happens before God hears or attends to you. You can see the disaster that is out there, friends. That is not the type of God that we worship. Are we together? We worship an awesome God. We worship an all-seeing and all-powerful God. We worship a God that can attend to the billions of people in the world at the same time. We worship a God that really can attend to your problems as if you are the only one living here on earth. So don't despair. Your challenges they are nothing. God can just speak and things can happen. So, friends, God's power is still the same as before. Remember, we are talking about being stewards of God. Let's just go to the book of Matthew chapter 25. Those who have got Bibles. Matthew chapter 25. We are going to take it from verse 14 going down. Matthew 25 from verses 14. Then we just read a few verses. We don't want to detain you longer. Then we go for lunch so that we can come back again in the afternoon. Before that, actually, Matthew 25 talks about the parable of the 10 virgins. And then if we read verse 18, it says, "Watch therefore, for ye know neither the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man cometh." Verse 14, "For the kingdom of heaven is as a man traveling into a far country, who called his servants and delivered unto them his goods." I'm reading from the Kingdom's Version. Verse 15, "And unto one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another one, to every man according to his several ability. And straightway took his journey. Then he that had received the 5 talents went and traded with the same, and made them other 5 talents. And likewise he that had received 2, he also gained the other 2. But he that had received 1 went and digged in the earth, and hid his Lord's money. After a long time the Lord of those servants cometh and reckoneth with them." Verse 20, "And so he that had received 5 talents came and brought other 5 talents, saying, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 5 talents. Behold, I have gained beside them 5 talents more." Verse 21, "His Lord said unto him, Well done, thou good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of the Lord." He also that had received 2 talents came and said, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 2 talents. Behold, I have gained 2 other talents beside them. His Lord said unto him, Well done, good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of the Lord. Then he which had received the 1 talent came and said, Lord, I knew thee that thou art a hard man, reaping where thou hast not sown, and gathering where thou hast not strawed. And I was afraid, and went and hid thy talent in the earth. Lo, there thou hast that is thine. Verse 26. His Lord answered and said unto him, Thou wicked and slothful servant, thou knewest that I reap where I sowed not, and gather where I have not sowed. Thou oughtest therefore to have put my money to the exchangers, and then at my coming I should have received mine own usury. Take therefore the talent from him, and give it unto him which hath 10 talents. For unto everyone that hath shall be given, and he shall have abundance. But from him that hath not shall be taken away even that which he hath. Verse 30. And cast ye the unprofitable servant unto the outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. We can go and read the rest of the story in our free space. So here, friends, we have the parable of the talents committed to 3 servants. This implies that we are in a state of work and business. So God does not like idleness, dear friends. As the children of God, as we are waiting the coming of the Lord, we do not wait in idleness. We wait, and as we wait, we work. We continue to work as we wait for the Lord. We don't wait in idleness. So we work. In the parable, the master is Christ, who is the absolute owner of all persons and things. So we said in the morning, friends, lest you say you didn't know or you didn't hear. A steward is someone who manages the business on behalf of another. So, as the children of God, as Christians, we are not owners. Are we together? We are not owners, but we are stewards. In other words, we are managers. When God created this earth, He gave it to us to manage. To manage it. So we are God's managers. So the owner is Christ. The servants are Christians, His own servants. He left them something to work upon. Let's go to 1 Peter 4, 1 Peter 4 verse 10. 1 Peter 4 verse 10. If you are there, let's read together. It says, as every man hath received the gift, even so minister the same one to another, as good stewards of the manifold grace of God. So God left us some work to do. So the master was traveling into a far country. So as the master gave them some talents or some goods, he did not he left them to do what they were supposed to do. Friends, let me say at this point that God does not micromanage us. But when He gives us some goods, He expects us that He has given us brains. He has given us eyes. He has given us hands. We need to develop from what God has given us. So these pews that we are sitting on, God didn't just bring them to us and then He just brought some delivery vehicles and they say, no, this is coming from heaven, just sit. No. But God gave us trees. From the trees, that's where we see that no, from a tree we can have what? Pews or benches or chairs to sit on, because God has given us brains. God has given us all the resources that we need. So God does not give you something and then He micromanages you and says, oh, this, and goes into every details. No. We need to develop from where God has given us. So as we read along, he says, He gave each one according to his several ability. Are we together, friends? So each one was given according to their several abilities. In other words, He did not give them according to how much he had, but He gave you according to your ability. So we cannot blame God for what others have or what we do not have, but it's about our ability. How do we manage what God has given us? So He did not give them according to how much He had, but according to their ability. to manage. So God does not determine what you get. You do. Are we together on that point, friends? So you determine what you get. Some of us, God saw that if I can give a brother Ncube, not him, but this one here, a 10 billion, I will never see him in my church anymore. But he will spend the Sabbath afternoon, the very clear Sabbath, playing golf. Yes. Or flying to Dubai, going to do shopping. Just because he could see that this one is not going to manage my affairs well. He's going to abuse the resources that have been placed in your hands. So sometimes we determine what to get. So God's in trying to save us with the hold. When I was in Durban some few months ago, this other brother says to me, there's this guy, that other guy, he is so rich, He is so rich, he has got stuff, he has got things. So he says this guy was talking to me and asking me whether I am a religious person or I am a Christian. Then I told him that yes, I am one. Then he says, yeah, Christianity is for the poor people who always go to God to ask. So to him, to this man, to this businessman, the whole business of Christianity, to coming here to worship, is going to ask God, please God bless me. Please God bless me indeed. So to some people really, he said himself, for me, I don't see the reason why I should go to worship. I should go to God because I've got everything, I don't need anything. I've got everything. So it is dangerous sometimes to just give some people things. So sometimes God is trying to save us with all the other blessings. Until we manage the little that we have, then God continues adding. So some people, they feel like they don't need to worship God because they've got material stuff. They are covered. They are sorted for the whole year. For you and me, we'll be saying, God, please provide for me. Give me the daily bread. Give me the daily bread. But obviously we know that's not the case. We worship God for who he is, because he's our creator, because he is our master. Honestly, I know of one brother who really touches my heart, who used to serve the Lord so much. And I won't mention the name because most of you here, I know that you know him. And I won't mention the name, the place where he's coming from, because I know that some of you know him. Because he used to serve the Lord. I almost invited him some years back to come and present here. It was only a few logistics, but otherwise he could have come. I was willing to come. So this brother has been blessed materially now. He has got all that he needs. So, but the unfortunate part is that with all these material things, he has forgotten about God. He has started drinking. He has started going to places. When you visit him, the first thing he start opening his garage. I know I've got this latest car and that one and all those things. So that is our problem at times. That is a problem. So God does not determine what you get, you do. So as we live today, if you want more, are there any who want more? God manage what God has given you now well. And if you manage it well, God will bless you with more. Not to own, but to manage. Know that I am a manager. I'm not an owner. Are we together? Thank you, friends. So talents are not restricted to a few. To every man is committed individual gifts termed talents. So to each and every one here, God has given us gifts. Different gifts from Sister Paracetamol, different gifts from each and every one of us here. So it's up to us how we use those gifts. To everyone is committed some special endowments for which he will be held responsible by the Lord. So what the Lord has given us we are going to account for it one day. Let me not scare you. Let me just pass. The man with one talent, as we were reading the story, he went, instead of developing that talent, he went and dug it. So he did not appreciate what God has given him. So he actually felt that God made some money by using him. That's why he buried the gift that he received. Says, you God, you benefit from me. You reap where you never sowed. So friends, time, reason, means, strength, mental powers, tenderness of heart, all are gifts from God entrusted to be used in the great work of blessing humanity. The Lord has blessed us with different gifts, resources. But we need to ask ourselves, how are we using those resources that God has blessed us with, that God has given us to manage? Not forgetting that a day of reconciliation is coming. What will you say to God? And with the talents that God has given us, the gifts that God has given us, let's serve him. And if we serve God, that's where we will actually have, if you are walking with God, you actually experience more powerful things, more experiences. Maybe before I sit down, let me just share one or two testimonies of what I've experienced myself in the short life that I've lived, or the short experience that I have walked in this journey of following God. This is not to brag, but just to acknowledge God's power, that really God is a God who hears. He's a God who delivers. He's a God who answers prayers.